Hello and welcome to a special episode of Platinum Explosion, discussing the PlayStation Productions side of all things PlayStation. Last of Us, Season 1, Episode 8, penultimate episode. My name's Dylan Blight, joining me, Ashley Hopley.
Hey Dylan, excited to be here on this penultimate episode.
What a thrilling, exciting, happy episode it was.
Just rainbows and flowers.
Just made me very hungry, you know what I mean? This week's episode, titled When We Are in Need, it covers the winter section of the video game. I got a hot take straight away. I'm going to come straight out the gate.
All right.
They should add an extra episode for this season. I really feel like this could have used 2 episodes. This is the first time I was really... Like, not that I think the episode's good, Noel, but I really feel like they could have easily got 2 episodes out of this section. Easily. How do you feel about this week's episode?
I thought it was really good. I think it was fine, Of course, I feel like you probably could have stretched it out for 2 episodes, but I don't think you necessarily needed to. I think you only would if you wanted to explore the David character more, which I don't think is a necessity for the series as a whole. Really, it did its job of progressing Ellie's story and giving Joel kind of time to recover and kind of giving us a glimpse at kind of Joel's more violent tendencies. But yeah, I thought it was really good. Obviously very tense, and I think it's definitely an episode that's going to play differently for people who have experienced the games and then people who have not experienced the games. Right from that moment where he pulls out that tray of meat. And
you know straight away.
People who play the game,
if you play the game, you know straight away. Yeah.
People who have not played the game might be a little bit more. What the hell is that? It's a little suspicious. Yeah, just a lot there that's very fucked up.
What did you think of?
Well, do you want to get into why you think it should be 2 episodes?
Well, no. Well, this is the thing. Did you like? Obviously, you're meant to hate him, but Scott Shepherd as David. Do you think he did a good job? It's a little different to the game.
But see, I can't remember
slightly, but
I can't remember this section of the game that well. But I think he was quite good. Yeah.
So, in my mind, as I said, I'm not saying the episode's bad. The episode's very good. Stellar performance by Bella Ramsey, especially in that last half. I thought Scott Shepherd did this phenomenal job as playing especially for someone who doesn't know if they're good guys, bad guys or not. I feel like for that first 20 minutes or whatever, if you don't know the story, you're like, oh, he's it seems like they're part of some weird bloody religious cult, but maybe they're okay. And there's that moment where he slaps that girl across the face, where it's oh, okay, so he just plays nice and he's got that very calm voice and whatever else. But
it wasn't even 20 minutes, it was 5 minutes.
Well, however long it was. Because after they come back with the deer and everything like that. And she's like, you're gonna kill him, we don't want revenge or whatever. I feel where I would want it extended and the why and how is I do feel like I would have actually preferred more time with Ellie and David. I know it sounds it's from a sick reason, but I not to say that there isn't enough here to justify Ellie going, of course, ballistic at the end. There definitely is 100%, but I feel like he definitely could have really got under people's skin with building and playing a relationship, and you would have done that by having the first episode would have ended with keeping in what happens in the game, which is they're attacked by a bunch of infected in the house where they have the campfire when they're waiting for James to come back with the medicine. So they have to work together. So Ellie originally is doing in the game. It's all she's keeping an eye on him, but then they're attacked and they do the whole we have to work together if we're going to survive or whatever. But then that also plays into the moment later where she's like, I'm infected, I got bit, and then it's more he's straight away believing it because they were just fighting infected together sort of thing. So I feel like I would have gave them more time to spend together, to have to work together, and then you, the audience, especially for people who don't know the story, would have maybe by the end of that part been like, "Oh, this David guy's like actually like maybe he's a bit of weirdo, but he's all right." Like, and it would have, by the time you then reveal he's this fucked up dude, even more messed up. I would have also liked to have seen a big extended sequence of in tandem with that, with Joel having to track his way to find a location, playing up getting to see more time with him alone and getting to portray more about his worry about having potentially lost Ellie. Because I feel like there wasn't enough time to really give Pedro the ability to portray like his legit worry, like how attached he is now to this girl, that he's willing to like go to these levels of torture and all that sort of stuff, because they kind of rush through it in the show, whereas I definitely feel like in the game, because it's played out over a longer period with gameplay sequences and whatever, you get a better idea of like, this is the moment where it's finally like, these two are like, this is the father-daughter relationship time, and by the time that Joel comes in at the end and gives her the whole that what's he say, like, it's okay sweet girl, or little
okay,
baby girl, or whatever. But it's okay. But yeah, so the lead up to that is like, you get more time to be able to see him. So that's where I would have preferred a two-parter for this storyline as well, because we got it's not like asking, like, we got a two-parter for the, what they change it to, Kansas. We got a two-parter in the Kansas storyline. I feel like we could have used a two-parter for this storyline as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It is. I'm sure there is a certain amount of like production element of it. That's why it's been certain things have been stretched out and certain things have been shortened. Purely for like financial reasons. Like, sure, the show's only 9 episodes, but it's a 10-episode season. That first episode was meant to be 2 separate episodes, and HBO went, "No, we need Ellie in the first episode." So yeah, from that like a purely production standpoint, I can understand why they cut this section down. And I think it still works. It does what it needs to do. I don't think the show would gain anything from more David time. Maybe it would have gotten some more from more Joel, like kind of him worrying about Ellie, but I think we're all along the lines that he loves Ellie and we do anything.
It's not that I don't think anyone watching it doesn't get it, and that like you get there.
No, I can understand. And also, we just had an entire episode where Joel was pretty much in a coma and couldn't do anything, so it would have been nice to have a little bit more of him, I guess. But I feel like this show is definitely, as much as it's first game was about Joel, I feel like this show is about Ellie. Especially given where the show would potentially go in the second season. It makes more sense. Yeah. That she's the focus.
How weird do you think it was seeing Troy Baker and then how weird it is that Ellie's the person that kills
I mean, it's
Joel,
funny.
technically. Like,
yeah. I mean, it's cool. It's a nice bit, meaty role.
It wasn't like a little cameo. It's like
no, it wasn't like I think I watched the behind this like extended extra thing. He's like, oh, I thought it was just going to come in and be a clicker or something. No, it's like he's one of the dudes, kills a horse, yeah, and then he takes a cleaver to the throat.
Yeah, memorable.
I
used to be a butcher, but then I took a cleaver to the throat.
Stop that real quick.
On the obviously Bella Ramsey. Do you reckon this is her best performance so far? Of the episodes
it's right up there. I mean, I loved last week's episode and the whole range of emotions, but yeah, just the violent nature and like her violent, to pull from the show, her violent heart being on full display this episode is pretty brutal to watch.
What do you think about the change or how do you reckon people? I haven't actually looked. I'm sure I could answer this by Google or Twitter search. But do you reckon people are going to be upset that we didn't get the classic bunny meme moment thing?
I mean, that's the reason I hate this episode, because we didn't get the funny moment. I mean, it makes sense purely because they never introduced him carrying a bow and arrow. So
in the show, yeah.
How's she meant to kill a bunny? Shoot it?
Yeah.
That's not as fun.
No. She would have had to like find one in that house that they're staying in, and then she just magically
just pick
learns
it
how
up,
to,
or flash back to her doing bow and arrow training at Fedra.
Yeah, at Fedra, yeah. That would be really.
But
dumb.
I'm disappointed, But yeah, instead we just have to look at a dumb deer for like 20
Yeah. I mean, the deer's in the game too, but like it's up. So the winter section starts with that the classic. So for people who don't know what we're talking about, I guess the winter section in the game starts with this arrow going for a bunny.
Sure,
but the bunny comes out of the hole.
Meme of this,
the meme, the girl,
streamer,
whatever the streamer is, yeah, where she like reacts. She's like, "Oh, what a cute bunny!" Oh, she's so distraught. But I'm sure like
she's
Ellie picks up.
So the bunny was in there.
Yeah. And the thing is, when the game came out, of course, like up until this point, you'd been playing as Joel. Joel gets, you don't know if he's dead or alive after he gets stabbed. It like fades out and fades in with this winter section. And then suddenly you're playing as Ellie. And, you know, remember playing the game for the first time, I was like, holy shit, I'm playing as Ellie. But yeah, after the clip where she kills the bunny, she spots a deer and chases it down and bumps into David, the same as the show, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I do have one worry going into next week, though. Like, as someone who's sitting there going, damn, I really felt like I just wanted some more time with some of these characters, good and bad. Fucking, apparently next week, the finale is like only 45 minutes. And knowing how like, everything they're trying to cover, oof. I'm a little bit worried. I'm going to be honest. I'm a little bit worried. And I'm happy to come on here next week and be like, oh, it's fine, like it was a great episode or whatever. That's fine. But I'm telling you right now, reading that's 45 minutes, knowing everything that they have to cover,
I think you're overestimating, you know. Again, television, completely different form to, you know, video games. This perspective has changed. You can cut very quickly. You can have much more quick time jumps and that kind of stuff.
So trying to say about spoiling stuff. They're going to go straight to the city that they go to next. They're just going to cut ahead of time. That's fine.
Yep.
I'll be shocked if they don't include one of the most famous scenes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Game. If they don't include that, that's blasphemous.
With the particular
it would be just above them not including the rabbits as like the biggest grievance of the show. So. Yeah.
So I'll be shocked if that's not in at the start of the episode when they are making their way through the next city. They're going to skip all of the clicker fighting through like a tunnel sequence whatever
definitely.
it is.
That's going to be skipped.
They're going to skip all of that. Now, when they get to the location that they're like ultimately going to go to, a majority of the episode, like even if it isn't as like over the top, of course the action in the game always has like, so there's like 20 characters in the game that like Joel kills or something like that. You know, look at the hospital sequence that we just went through. There's like in the game, Joel like shoots his way through like 20 people and Ellie has to shoot some people. And in the university, sorry. And then in the show, it was like 3 people, you know. So like even putting that into perspective, there's still a fairly action heavy sort of sequence in the game coming up. And then the part I'm most worried about is just how they like the game, the way it ends, such an important part of the thing. And they can't, this is the one part where I'm like, I'm falling on the side of fanboy for it. They can't change the way it ends. I just can't. Like I need the same ambiguity, I guess, that the game gave towards its ending. I need that in the show. I feel like that's very important for the. At least as far as
I think they'll do that. I think they've proven so far that they're willing to keep important moments the same. That that ending is a very important moment.
Now here's the thing.
Yeah,
this one road, 45 minutes. All of that. I'm down. I think they can do it. I think they can pull all of that together 45 minutes justice. But here's what else I know they're doing next week. They're including some flashback with Ellie's mum, played by Ashley Johnson. Now, we've known this since the show started. Since, like, before it's aired. So now we're adding in stuff. So all that stuff I just said, I'm like, 45 minutes, gotcha. Flashback sequence that's not part of the game story. I'm down to learn more about Ellie's mum. This is
at most.
Still, I'm like, but is it going to feel forced? Do I feel that? Yeah, this is the part where I get worried, because if you're suddenly adding in like Ellie's mum as a little bit that is only a couple minutes just for the sake of getting, like, I don't know. This is where I'm getting a little bit worried. I don't know.
I mean, you're more than welcome to feel worried, and then you can feel the sense of relief after next week's episode, probably.
Yeah. It's going to be weird seeing Ashley playing the mum of the character she birthed.
Yep.
And birthing that character. That's just such a weird concept. Is there anything else from this episode?
I mean the whole jail sequence, or cage sequence, I think was fantastic. Just, the weird... Yeah, again, I'd be interested to see what people who didn't watch the show experienced and were feeling about that scene. Like, oh, it's weird. He wants her to join a group. Oh no, that's weird. He wants her to like be a part of it. I think it's the weird part hand touching.
It's like when he puts his hand on hers, and then Ellie's like, "Oh, yeah,
oh,
yeah," and just breaks his fucking finger.
Also, how do you just leave a random ear on the floor?
Yeah, they messed up there. Hey?
But like, why are you taking you?
Well, you're not eating the ear, right?
Yeah, but you're not eating anything from the head either, right?
No, they cut the heads off.
Yeah, so why are you cutting a random ear off?
Well, I don't know. I don't know the intricacies of cannibalism. However, as far as the classic TV show and one of the best shows of all time, Hannibal taught me there's certain parts of the body that are good, certain parts that aren't good. You know, some are delicacies, Ash. So an ear may be like a frog's leg.
It could be, but if you're trying to pass it off as animal meat, probably not the part of the body you want to be cutting off and like leaving around.
No. Yeah. Venison.
It would have made kind of more sense if it was like a finger or something like on the ground rather than a human ear, is all I'm saying.
No, maybe it just fell off. Maybe it was just like a miscut. You know how you get miscut meat? Miscut steak? I don't know.
Yep. And then the Joel interrogation sequence. That was just like probably the most brutal we've seen Joel, and like kind of getting a kind of glimpse at him before Ellie, I guess. Where he's going to pop a dude's kneecap off.
Yep.
and then it's funny because it's a weird callback to his scene with the old couple before he meets Tommy with the map. He just bludgeons the other guy because he believes the first guy was telling the truth. Very funny.
Yeah, but he had no reason. He wasn't going to kill them. He just wanted information. The old people, I mean.
Yeah.
These two people, he straight up was going to kill no matter what.
Yeah, it does matter.
I like that though. It's just he's like, how are you doing? I swear he was telling the truth. Oh, I know. I believe him.
Also, it did look very cold.
Holy shit, this episode looked cold.
It was freaking cold.
Yeah. Like, I think there was at the start when Ellie's wandering around the forest or whatever, and just like the redness of her cheeks and shit like that, I was being like, holy fuck, it must be cold. Like, you can see it on her face, sort of thing. Just a very, it's that whole thing of like, I watch this, and obviously, you know, you live somewhere where it's hot all year round.
Yeah.
So you don't really understand what
cold at all.
You don't even understand what cold is, but
15 degrees, freezing.
Yeah, freezing. But as someone who lives somewhere that has like normal rotation of seasons throughout the year, the idea of like living in a place this cold for like not all the time, but like where their winter's this fucking cold, I'm just like, why would you live there? That sounds horrible.
Yeah.
I know some people like it, obviously, but I'm like, hell no. You have to go outside and you have to wear that many layers and like boot up and all that sort of stuff no. That ain't fun.
Yeah.
Do you even own a jumper?
I have some hoodies. Jacket.
Yeah, very good. So
other scene that I feel again messed up us knowing, and then probably other people not, is the mess hall scene where they're eating the food, and he's sitting across from the daughter of the guy who just died.
Yeah, just eating their dad.
You assume, it's kind
presumably eating their dad. Yeah,
and eating it hurriedly, and like he's just slowly.
Oh, we can't eat him. It's too cold to bury him.
Yeah, we'll do it in the spring.
Do it in the spring.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then him slowly taking bites out of his food that doesn't look like.
Can enjoy it, you know. Just savor the flavor.
I guess.
Did feel like the most horrific.
I mean, it's arguably more horrific than any of the quicker stuff this season.
Yeah. I mean, when Joel sees the dead bodies hanging up with the headless dead bodies and stuff.
Yeah, with chunks out of their torsos. Yeah.
Yeah. So, as someone who doesn't like horror movies.
Yeah.
You survived that scene, or?
I mean, yeah, I survived. I kind of knew it was coming. So left the horse alone. You know, the solid bit there.
Yeah. So they keep saying that they're only doing it out of necessity. But they're eating all that bloody human food when there's that deer lying on the ground. So.
Yeah, that deer was fine. Should have been straight away in the kitchen, but yeah. Okay.
I call bullshit on that. Just saying. Some people like the taste.
And
a bunch of Hannibal Lecters over here.
Did Ellie kill David in the game? I can't remember.
Oh, yeah. So the scene plays out the same.
Okay.
So I would say, not that the bar's pretty fucking low. That her scene with David in the bar where it was on fire, probably the best recreation of a boss fight from a video game into a TV show. Because like in the game, it's just you got to crawl around and like try not to get seen and stuff, and obviously you got to attack him like 3-4 times or whatever it is because it's a video game. Yep. But it still had the same. What would you call it? Like that. I guess the claustrophobic sense and like predatory nature that the game gives as you're crawling around as Ellie with this dude, this like beastly fucked up man trying to chase you down to do horrible things to you. That same sense that the game gives, I definitely feel like the show portrayed, especially using good use of low camera angles, like on Ellie crawling and hearing just David's voice in the background and never having like wide angle shots. It was always sort of like kept that same feeling that the game portrayed, which I really appreciated. So obviously she only attacks him once, but yeah, it plays out the same. The only difference, it doesn't matter to me anyway. The only difference they made here is that in the game, when Ellie's just pulverizing his face into like a mashed potato, Joel comes into the building and stops her. It's like, Ellie, put down the, all that sort of thing. And then they had the same line about sweet baby girl and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. In the show, Ellie like stops herself and walks out, and then Joel. So I actually think I would say the show is better. Because Ellie gets her full moment, and she's the one who like stops and walks out herself. Yep. Whereas the game has Joel stop her from like going. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it just depends on where you want to go on the symbolism of that.
I don't know, just for her. I guess I'm like sort of knowing where her character goes and everything, having her like getting her full moment of violence. I feel like it's just better. If that makes sense.
But then you also you also have the threat of her going unchecked,
Yeah. A lot of my thoughts on the character stuff in the show are obviously going to be
influenced by part 2.
Influenced by my like knowing what happens and stuff like that. So yeah. Anything else?
No. Yep. Really good. She did a good job. I don't know I don't know if that's how penicillin works.
That's definitely not how penicillin works.
I'm like,
that's definitely how penicillin works. Also, that would fucking hurt. That would hurt like, oh fuck.
Yeah,
so,
this super like, raw, like.
Yeah, the super
section.
raw, fucked up section that you've been cut open deep, and you just got this needle stuck right into it. That would hurt. So that would be absolutely fucked up.
I mean, yeah.
I was gonna say this.
I'm no
this,
doctor, but I'm pretty sure that's not how penicillin's
No,
meant to
that's not how penicillin works. But penicillin in video games is you pick it up on the ground and suddenly your
stab
health
it
goes
in
up.
you,
So. Like,
stab it anyway.
Yeah. This one was directed by Ali Abahasi. Directing next week's as well. So definitely good. I mean, I looked through what else they'd done. Not much. So very much
I mean, they're Iranian, so they did Holy Spider, which I heard was very good.
Yeah. But this is the stuff I appreciate where it's like the sort of indie directors being picked to do this stuff and bring their own sort of, which we've seen, because remember when they announced the first director, whose name I can't remember, and we was like looking it up and being like this random German film or whatever it was,
Russian
like,
from memory.
Russian, sorry, yeah. But yeah, it's like the a lot of the directors for this show, other than the people we know, like Craig and Neil, bunch of sort of very different influence, non-American influenced, I guess, which I think brings something to the show. Cool. That'll do it for this week's spoiler discussion of The Last of Us. Of course, join us next week where we will be talking about the finale, seeing how all that goes. Crazy. Can't believe it's coming up. Happened so fast. I feel like we only just started it, and now here we are. Never mind. Check out, of course, regular episodes of Platinum Explosion and all those sorts of things. You can follow us on Twitter, explosionnetwork.com/Twitter. Come talk to us about the show if you'd like, explosionnetwork.com/Discord, and check out explosionnetwork.com for all the other things. And until next week, just go vegan.